Yes.
Yes.
Pass the resolution.
Yeah. Okay, we have been here actually since this morning. We had a committee meeting here this morning to do with budget, and we had our regular council meeting from 2 till about 5. So I'm almost ready to start the planning for this evening, but I do have a couple of things to do. And the first thing I would like is the resolution to come out of camera, because we went in camera before we had our supper break.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolved that as per section 152(4) of the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting of regular session.
Moved by Councillor Vazzarowicz, seconded by Councillor Belanger. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. One other thing I would like to do before we get into the planning items, for those of you who may not know, everybody sitting around the table here, I have Councillor Glenn Vazzarowicz beside me, then Councillor Sandra Strang, Councillor David Sutherland, Councillor David Horbis, Councillor Rob Belanger, Councillor Scott Spicer, and myself, Mayor Debbie Feeblecorn. We also have our CAO, Deepak Joshi, with us this evening, and our planning assistant, Heather Stanek. So with that, I will ask now that we open our planning hearings for this evening, and the first one we have is a variation order, and I'm going to ask Deepak to please read the resolution to enter into a public hearing for variation order 17 of 2021.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolved, the regular meeting of be adjourned and the public hearing be opened for variation order 17-2021.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And Pawan, I will turn it over to you for variation order number 17 of 2021, and our planner is participating via Zoom tonight, so he'll go through the application. Go ahead, Pawan.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'm just pulling up my slideshow here from the beginning. And yes, am I coming clear, Madam Mayor?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, the first public hearing item is variation 17-2021. It is located at 31092 Road 75 North. And the applicants are requesting site area variances for their proposed lot and residual lot as part of their conditionally approved subdivision application S19-2816. And the variance requests are for 10.12 acres minimum for a proposed lot from the required 80 acres, and 70.06 acres minimum for the residual lot as part of the conditional approval. And this is the subject property located on the intersection to the southwest of 75 North and 32 East. The subject property is mainly farmland, and the yard site was divided by the owners at the time. And this is the subdivision application now. We did get confirmation from the applicant's surveyor for the lot areas, and approval of this application by council would allow the applicant to complete the condition number 3 of the conditional use application S19-2016. Should council approve the requested variance, we recommend the following. The variance is approval for the site area as proposed within this application. And that is all I have for this Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that, Pawan. Do any members of council have questions for the planner? Okay, I do have a couple of names on my list here. Is the applicant in the audience this evening? Do you have anything that you would like to add to the application? And can I just get your name for the record, please?
Gerald Wadley?
Okay.
No, not really.
No? Okay. Okay. Is there anybody else here who wants to speak on this application? I see Paul and Susan Shumalak have signed in here. Did you want to speak on this?
No, just for moral support, because we live across the road.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's for information more than anything else?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, I don't believe, is there anyone else who wants to speak on this variation order this evening? Okay, if council does not have any questions, I will ask that we close the public hearing for variation order number 17 of 2021.
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
That's okay.
So, resolve the public hearing for variation order 17 of 2021 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Horvis, second. Councilor Strang, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, and now we have our resolution for variation order 17 of 2021. So if I could have that resolution, please.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 265800 legally described as Park Northeast quarter section 17-136 EPM and located at 31092 Road 75 North has made application for a variation order number 17 of 2021 from site area 80 acres minimum to site area 10.12 acres minimum for a proposed lot and a 70.06 acres minimum for a residual lot within subdivision application file S19-2816. Purpose, the applicant is requesting council's approval of site area variation for a proposed lot and residual lot as part of the conditionally approved subdivision application S19-2816. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order 17 be approved with the following condition. The variance is approval for the site area as proposed within this application. This order shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months to the date of making.
Thank you for that. May I have a mover, please? Councilor Sutherland, Councilor Horvis, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so that concludes variation order 17 of 2021, and if I could have a resolution now to go into public hearing for variation order number 25 of 2021.
Resolved, the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 2025-2021.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Vazarowicz, Councilor Horvis, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Colin, if you could take us through variation order number 25 of 2021 at 80072 St. Peters Road.
Thank you much, Madam Mayor. Yes, the second public hearing item on today's agenda is variation 25/2021. This is located on the subject property location at 80072 St. Peters Road. The applicant is requesting council approval for site area and site width where variances for proposed lots 1 and 2 as part of their conditionally approved subdivision application S19-2836. These are the site areas and site widths listed here for council within the report. The applicant has 2 proposed lots within the agricultural limited zone, in which they are minimum 2.14 acres from the required 40 acres that they're requesting. And the site width of proposed lot 1 is 249.72 feet minimum, and proposed lot 2 is 249.96 feet minimum from the required 300 feet. The applicant was granted approval by council to create 3 lots in their application. The third lot is on the west side of St. Peters Road, and that is within the agricultural restricted zone, and that will be meeting the required area. It is the 2 lots on the east side of St. Peters Road within the agricultural limited to the applicant is requested to vary approved by council. These areas were confirmed by the applicant last surveyor and today to our office. I just want to go to the subdivision application, plan of subdivision submitted by the applicant. These are the 3 lots that are created as a result of the subdivision application. It is the 2 lots, again, on the east side of St. Peters Road that the applicant is requiring variances. And And the final, as presented, our application, we recommend approval be granted for the minimum site area and width as presented in this application. Thank you, Mr. Senator.
Thank you very much, Colin. Do any members of council have questions of the planner? Okay, I see the applicant is in the audience. Mr. Yuski, did you have anything you wanted to add to the application at this point in time?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Was there anybody else in the audience who wanted to speak on this variation? I don't have any other names here, but I do like to ask just in case. Okay, it doesn't appear that there is anybody else here, so I will now ask for a resolution to close the public hearing on 25-2021.
Resolve the public hearing for variation order number 25-2021 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Boulanger, Councilor Horbus seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, council is ready to deal with the resolution for variation order number 25 of 2021. I will ask our CEO, Mr. Yashi, to please read the resolution.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 409,000 legally described and located at 872 St. Peters Road has made application for variation order number 25-2021 from site area 40 acres minimum to site area 2.14 acres minimum for proposed lots 1 and 2 within subdivision application file S19-2836. From site width 300 feet minimum to site width 249.72 feet minimum for proposed lot 1 and 249.96 feet minimum for proposed lot 2. Purpose, the applicant is requesting council's approval of a site area and site width variance for proposed lots 1 and 2 of the planned subdivision as part of the conditionally approved subdivision application S19-2836. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order 25-2021 be approved with the following condition: that the variance is for approval for site areas and site widths as proposed within this application. This order shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Horbus, Councilor Strang seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so as far as our planning goes for this evening, we do not have any more public hearings. We do have a couple of subdivisions that we are going to deal with that there is no requirement for a public hearing, because they're just one lot splits. So with that, we will have subdivision file S21-2878 at 42-149 Stead Road. And Deepak, or not Deepak, Colin, can you take us through that, please?
Yes, thank you much, Madam Mayor. Right now, the volume on your end is a little bit low.
Okay.
Just,
I'll use my outside voice.
Thank you much, Madam Mayor. Yes, the next item is a non-public hearing item. It is subdivision application S21-2878. It is, subject property involving 42-149 Stead Road, as well as the neighboring property to the north. Is to subdivide the agricultural land from the subject property at 42-149 Stead Road in order to consolidate and create a new proposed lot in the agricultural general zone. This is the two properties involved. This is the applicant's property is currently developed with, it actually has a commercial use as indicated within their subdivision application, as well as residence. The applicant has a parcel of land at the rear of their property, which is being farmed by the neighboring property, and they are actually in the process of selling that land to the neighbor, who is the farmer in the north. There is actually dual zoning associated with this property. Land basically that will be part of this subdivision application and make up parcel E and F are within the commercial recreation zone. and it do meet the minimum zoning bylaw requirements of that zone. And the rest of the land that make up parcels C, D, A, and B will be a 120-acre parcel, and they will meet the minimum site area requirement. The application as presented do also adhere to the development plan policies as presented in this application. This is actually a separation of two different zones on the land. And this application was circulated to government agencies, and we received no concerning comments. Manitoba Agriculture has also provided support for these applications. And Madam Mayor, do you want me to read the conditions at this time, if council decides to consider approval?
You can read them and then we'll just ask Deepak to just kind of reiterate them because we don't need them read twice. I'm sure there's not many conditions in any event.
Thank you much, Madam Mayor. So based on our analysis and our office, strictly from a policy perspective, I recommend approval of the application. Should council wish to approve the application, our office recommends the following. Number one, applicant owner submit confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that 1A, taxes on lands to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. 1B, development levies has been paid as per bylaw 14-2009. And 1C, a digital copy of plan of subdivision be provided to the RM of St. Clement. Number 2, the applicant owner submits a written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro and an easement from Manitoba Hydro. Sorry, applicant owner submits a written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreements have been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and/or future facility associated with the subdivision, and a planning easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement would be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval, and contact information for Manitoba has been provided to the applicant. Madam Mayor, I do want to make one note on this subdivision.
Yes?
We did receive comments from Winnipeg Land Title's office regarding the requirements for the filers or drawings and so forth. The actual Land Title's office requires no plan for this subdivision. Currently, is our understanding, all these parcels currently are separated here would actually just require consolidation requirements of the certificate of approval. So I'm just wondering if the RM still requires condition number 1C. And that is something I want to propose to the RM office.
Okay, let me just,
Thank you much.
thank you for that, Pawan. Can you just pull that resolution up again, Deepak, please? Oh, okay. Okay, so what are they talking about? The digital copy? So, Pawan, what you're saying is the digital copy of the plan of subdivision is no longer required by the land titles office?
So, yeah, basically for land tenants, what they've said is that the condition is they don't require any plan. It will be done at their end. They'll only need a certificate of approval from once the applicant completes all the conditions. So I'm not sure if there's no plan, I'm not sure if the survey still does a plan of subdivision when the land title will require a plan of subdivision.
Okay, thank you for that, Pawan. Deepak, can you pull that up on the GIS? Like, I'm really unsure where this property is. Like, I know where Stead Road is, but the way they're describing the parcels, I would like to see it on a,
You know, the grocery store is in the corner.
Yeah,
Randy's.
yeah.
Just keep going
I
past.
just put it on my.
Used to be a restaurant.
You can bring it up, Pawan, okay?
Yeah, I'll just pull it on my.
The Ranch House.
Oh, the Ranch
That was-
House
yeah,
restaurant,
the Ranch
okay.
House.
But it just seems like when you read the resolutions, there's all those parcels.
My apologies here.
Subdividing the ranch.
I would just ask the question, Pawan, how would we update our GIS systems afterwards?
That is, I guess, something we could probably have to get through the actual, when they actually register the plan at land titles and then go to assessment. We would probably have to get that from the assessment office if they can provide us on their mapping. That's the only other solution I have.
Okay.
So my apologies, in fact, I think my GIS is frozen on my end. I can stop sharing if you want.
No, it's okay, I can bring it up here, you don't have to stop sharing.
Okay, no problem, thank you. It should be east of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the address again?
42149 Stead Road.
that's the one.
Yeah, 290 is on Road 317.
So there's the parcel here, give you a further zoom out. That's the parcel,
Yeah,
Stead Road.
yeah, but when they were describing that A, B, C, D, that's where I was a little,
Yeah, physically, it's on ours, on our GIS, it's basically broken up that way. That's why probably land titles.
okay, so that's parcels A and B, where you have the squared off now.
Correct.
Okay, now if you go to the west, that's parcels,
C, D, E, and F.
okay.
So the survey parcels are not necessarily the assessment parcels, and the assessment parcels would have been used in our GIS, so we shouldn't have a big issue.
Yeah,
Get this into electronic format.
technically, the lines are there, it's
Yes.
just you're consolidating.
Right,
Yep.
okay. Okay, I think I'm good now. If council has no questions for the planner, and we have the resolution in front of us, if council is ready to move forward, are we going to leave C in, or are we going to delete it? I think on the information that's been provided by the planner, it's okay to delete that, and land titles will look after it. Is council good with that? We don't have a mover and a seconder, so if council is good with that, we'll have that deleted.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And.
are you wanting me to read again, or you mentioned just as per
No,
province?
yeah, just read the first, the little preamble, thank you.
So regarding subdivision application, number S 21-2878, proposal of west to subdivide parts of southeast quarter section 3116-5, ETM parcels A, B, C, D, E, and E. Is that not supposed to be A, B, C, D, E, and F? Pavan?
I'm sorry, yeah, so Deepak, that's what I got from the actual survey, actual subdivision application map. All
Was
under-
A, B,
under
C,
actual-
D, E, and F, right?
I think it's supposed to be, well, that's the way they've written it, it's A, B, C, D, and E. So I'm
A,
not
B,
sure if it, I can check the title here 1 second.
Yeah. C,
If
D,
you look at the map there, it says.
E, and F.
E and F.
The map that you provided, Pavan, it shows E and F. Right there on the bottom.
Oh, I see, okay,
And
yes.
so just, it's just our resolution, so I'll correct that.
Yeah, that is correct, yeah, sorry, I was looking at the top part where it said A, B, C, D, and E on the top, part of it, but yeah, you're right, there is a title right in front there that says add F.
That's right. So I'll reread this and we'll correct it afterwards, Madam Mayor.
That's fine, thank you.
Regarding subdivision application number S 21-2878, proposal of west to subdivide part of southeast quarter section 31-16-5 EPM parcels A, B, C, D, E, and F, plan number 49905. Resolved, council approve the said application subject to the conditions outlined by the planner.
Thank you very
Except for condition, which condition has been removed already.
Right, okay, thank you for that, and we're not gonna reread those conditions. So with that, can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horvis, Counselor Bazarovic, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, we have one more subdivision to deal with this evening, and it's subdivision number S 21-2885, and that is at 34129 PR 317. Howard, if you could, again, this one does not need a public hearing because it's just a one-lot split.
Thank you much, Madam Mayor. Yes, the last item on council agenda tonight is subdivision application S 21-2885. This is the subject property located at 34129 Provincial Road, 317. And this is to subdivide the subject property in order to create a new proposed lot in the agricultural general zone. The application as presented did not adhere to the development plan, therefore the Red River Planning Office was recommending not to approve the application. The subject property located on the west side of Road 35 East and north of Provincial Road 317. This is sort of located east of the Zeeble area. The subject property currently is developed with a residential dwelling, a bunch of accessory buildings, and a couple of dilapidated buildings along the proposed property line. The applicant is requesting council approval to create a separated 42-acre residual lot and as well as separate a 36.63-acre proposed lot within the agricultural general zone. As presented and as from our analysis, the application did not adhere to any of the policies requirements within the development plan. Therefore, we were not able to, from a policy perspective, recommend approval of the application. The application was also circulated to Department of Agriculture. We didn't receive any pressing concerns. However, they did offer a couple of options for council to consider. One was they were requesting that the applicant reduce the actual proposed lot area to 10 acres in size. Or number two, they were seeking that the application, that development agreement be placed actually on the application for non-agricultural buildings on the residual 42.11 acre site. The Red River Planning Office recommends neither by the Department of Agriculture. Given the location, reducing the property to 10 acres may not be possible, may result in fragmented property. And regarding the development agreement, limiting non-farm uses is redundant given that the development plan and the zoning bylaw regulation actually control that. The other comments we received were from objections from Manitoba Infrastructure regarding the access of the property. They had either asked the applicant to either relocate the existing access so that it is centralized to the proposed lot line to serve as a shared access, or they've asked to move the lot line to the existing access in order to serve as a shared driveway. We recommend that council, if they do decide to approve this application, that the applicant actually create a new shared access. As if you move the line, it may impact other buildings on the property from its current location. Variances will be required if council chooses to approve the application for both the residual and proposed lot. And it is also our understanding that there are a couple of dilapidated buildings that currently would not adhere to the new proposed lot line. So if we put a condition in there for council consideration regarding the removal of the shed and barn as per the subdivision application map, or obtain variances from the Red River Planning Office regarding these buildings. At this point, Madam Mayor, like I said, from a policy perspective, strictly from that perspective, we were recommending not to approve. At this point, would you want me to read the conditions that we have? Is council decide to approve this application?
No, that's fine. I'm gonna open it up for a discussion by council because the plan, you people are not recommending that it be approved, so I want to open that up as to, you know, the discussion on that part of it. So, Councilor Boulanger.
Yes, Madam Chair, I mean, looking at this picture, I mean, it looks like to me, it looks like a simple subdivision off 317, which is basic land, and it looks like it can be clearly cut in half, but yet it doesn't meet the policies. I'm again having a hard time understanding. Like, I look at this and I just don't understand why someone wouldn't be able to divide that in half and create two parcels. Like, I get the policy thing. I get we have to stick and follow, or they have to follow some of their policy, but I just don't know.
Well, and I think we're gonna be seeing that more often, especially if it's farmland. You know, there is a big push with Plan 2050 and Bill 37 that farmland remains farmland, and I believe, and I didn't.
But this isn't farmland, and that's the frustration, is that often decisions are made without anybody going to look at this piece of property. It's not farmland, it's at best cattle land, and if you look on the left side, it's just grass.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, if we, you know, as we discussed earlier, if we're going to approach the province on Bill 37, maybe that is something that we should try and argue, because everything that's designated right now as farmland, they want it to stay as farmland, whether it's good farmland or scrub farmland.
But that's the problem we have right now
Yes.
with the way agriculture is dealing with this,
Yeah.
because they are in Winnipeg and they do not go to all these locations. They simply make a decision from the desk in Winnipeg, and they don't know what's on the boots on the ground.
Yeah,
And they say, no, we don't want to see ag land disturbed or taken away from the parcel. When actuality, if they drove and went there, not that I'm saying that that's what they would actually do, but if someone did, or if they, it's just that decisions are being made without it being factual.
right. Well, and the other thing is, and I see that Councillor Horvis also had his hand up, but the other thing is if this council chooses to approve it with conditions, when it gets to Red River Planning, it can be defeated there. And we have had that happen too.
It can be unless we speak strongly to the board on
Right.
why we are saying what we're saying.
Well, we have done that, and sometimes it hasn't worked in our
Right.
favor. So go ahead, Councillor Horvis.
Do you know whose property this is?
I believe the name on it was Meringue.
Oh, Sprague's, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's not, that land there is all rock and bush, and it's not farmland, it's not, there's no grain farming on there or anything.
Councillor Vazerovich.
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Blanchet and Councilor Horvis. I have no problem with something like this.
Right here.
Okay, there is no public hearing though, so
That's okay.
unfortunately I can't let you speak
Okay.
because this is just a two parcel split and there is no public hearing requirement for just a two lot split, so.
Okay.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Don't get me wrong, I understand where planning is coming from. They have to adhere to what they
Right.
have, they have to adhere to their policies. But when you look at this picture, it is a simple square that really has no difficulty to it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I won't disagree with you. I mean, we sitting around this table all know that you look at a piece of property which we know is scrub farmland or it's got scrub trees on it, but it's designated as agricultural, so when it comes to our table, something like this, even though we know it's not farmable, because it's designated agriculture, everybody says, no, it shouldn't be subdivided. And that's a bit of a lack, and with Bill 37, I think it's gonna be even more of a concern for some people in our municipality that want to subdivide. So with that, if no one else has any comments, Mr. CAO, did you want to comment on this one at all, or?
I think this is a decision of council, and I think, yes, those are the challenges that will be faced, but that's why I think the municipal act gives that level of authority for council to make those kinds of decisions, so we can understand the boots on the ground analysis. And I fully understand what the planning department's concerns are, but they have to also support what is policy that's written at the most senior levels.
Thank you for that. Okay, so what is the wish of council? You want to proceed with this evening?
Yeah, I think that we should I think we should pass this. That's just my feeling.
Okay,
I don't know.
Mr. CAO, if you want to read the resolution, we'll put it forward.
Regarding subdivision application number S21-2885, proposal of Smorang to subdivide part southeast quarter section 14-15-6 EPN. Resolved that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. Applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that taxes on the lands have been subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. Development levies has been made as per the bylaw 14 of 2009, and digital copy of the plan of subdivision will be provided to the Arma St. Clements. 2, applicant owner obtain all required variances. 3, applicant owner remove existing dilapidated shed and barn as per the subdivision application map, or obtain all required variances and approvals to the Red River Planning District Office. 4, applicant owner to submit written confirmation from Manitoba Infrastructure that that an approval has been obtained for shared access.
Okay, can I have a mover? Counselor Vanzeroy, second, Counselor Sutherland. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so with that, I believe we are now finished our planning items for this evening. And we did have a little time before our supper break, so we did do our in-camera. And I believe there is one resolution regarding the PBLE contract that you want to deal with.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, there will be two resolutions
Okay,
that
Oh,
were
can
coming.
you-
One is for the Burning Man.
yeah, can you just tell Paul if he's free to go?
Pavan, thank you very much.
But have a good meeting.
Yes, thank you, Pawan. Oh, right, there was the other one.
And I'm just going to reload. I know Heather's working on it right now.
Yeah, like the contract ones on there.
Yeah, I'll do the contract for right now, I'll try the both right now. The contract, so we had a resolution coming out of the in-camera, which is resolved, council authorizes CAO to enter into negotiations with Prairie bylaw enforcement for contract renewal of animal control bylaw and bylaw enforcement service.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Spicer, Counselor Horvath seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And the next resolution for the burning ban.
Whereas conditions pose extremely high risk for wildfires, and whereas Section 7 of Bylaw 5 of 2012 authorizes council to ban all burning if conditions warrant, therefore be it resolved, the rural municipality of St. Clements declares a fire ban on all burning, including outdoor fires, fires contained within fire pits, solid fuel burning, appliances, and use of fireworks, becoming effective April 1st, 2020, and remaining in effect until removed by council.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Boulanger, second. Counselor Horvath. Any discussion? Go ahead, Counselor Spicer.
Typically, do we allow, or do we normally stop burn pits if they're approved by our?
Not burn pits if they're approved. If they're approved burn pits, they're allowed.
Okay. Just for clarification.
Okay,
Didn't the
but it
resolution
says
say that, though?
No.
contained with fires contained within fire pits.
Approved fire pits.
Well, this just says fire pits, so,
Not approved by our pits.
so really what this resolution is saying is we're banning all fires, any, like, in the
Yeah,
municipality.
that's not the intent. The fire department has said that they're comfortable with fires in approved
In
fire pits.
approved pits.
And that's
So
what
one
covers
is-
screens,
one is-
right?
That's right. One is-
Yeah,
What's that approved?
We have a bylaw that stipulates what are the.
It's size and material. I have
Oh, okay.
an example of one.
Can we get that information put on our website?
We do.
and just so we won't get, thank you.
We have a couple of days to make sure that we get this information out.
So it's supposed to be nice this weekend.
So the burning barrel's okay?
That's not approved.
No comment, Counselor.
But if we read this, unless it's. the
We will make that
reality-
correction.
I put not approved.
Yeah, we put
Okay,
non-approved, we made
non-approved,
that
okay,
correction.
thank you. Okay, so I
I'll bring it
believe
up.
I had a mover and a seconder. We've got the correction to the non-approved fire pits. I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And if there is nothing else that we need to discuss this evening, I will ask for a resolution to adjourn our meeting today.
Resolved, this meeting of council be adjourned at 6:41 PM, Tuesday, March 30th.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strang, Counselor Belanger, second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
a chance to shut it off.
Yes, and this, Heather will shut the recording off.
Thank you for a very long day, council.
And whose idea was
We love you too. We love you too.
Well, there is a solution. I'll just establish the budget, you just approve it.
Pretty much doing everything.
I knew that was coming. Let me see, I wanted to show you.
Is there legislation on that you have to fire budget or?
This is an approved fire pit.